What's up, guys? My name's Droven. I'm once again back with some more Minecraft and Reddit stories. I'm still not AI, by the way. If you watched last video, you know I'm trying to beat the game for the first time ever by myself while telling you guys Reddit stories. This video, my goal is to go to the nether and get blaze rods and start getting ready to go beat the ender dragon. It's a pretty eventful video, so I'll update you guys throughout. But without further ado, here's the first Reddit story. Story number 1's called The House with No Address. Last month, my GPS glitched while I was driving home from work. Instead of taking me through the normal route, it sent me down a dead-end road I didn't even know existed. At the very end of the road sat a weathered white house. The weird part, there was no mailbox, no house number, but every single window was lit up warm and golden, like someone was home and expecting company. Alright, that's not creepy. You know, maybe they're just living off the grid. We both know that's not it's probably going to be some creepy shit. I pulled into the driveway just to turn around. The porch light blinked on as soon as I did, and that was enough to make me uneasy. Before I shifted into reverse, a woman stepped out onto the porch. She waved at me like she knew me, not just a casual wave, more like the "it's been so long" kind of wave you give to a family member. She mouthed something, but I couldn't hear her through the glass. That's when my phone buzzed. I looked down and saw a notification. Arrived at destination. Low-key, you might just be schizophrenic. Here's the thing, I hadn't entered an address. I was just following the fastest route home suggestion. I glanced up again. The woman was still waving, smiling wider now. Her hand gestures grew frantic, like she was urging me to come inside. I threw the car into reverse and sped out of there. By the time I made it back to the main road, the GPS had recalibrated like nothing was wrong. When I looked back at my location history later that night, the entry for that drive was gone. No record of the detour, no record of the destination, just a straight line home. Alright, kind of an unhinged take on this. This person is like very forgetful, and that's actually just like their grandma's house, and they are like just hallucinating. The next story is called The Basement Tenant. When I moved into my new rental, the landlord gave me a quick tour. He pointed at the basement door and casually said, "Don't worry about noises down there, it's just storage." Okay, no, why would storage make noise? Unless you're storing like a person. The first few nights, I did hear noises. Footsteps, heavy ones. Sometimes scraping sounds. I convinced myself it was pipes, or maybe raccoons. Okay, if there are raccoons in your basement, you might want to like call an exterminator or like make friends with them. Give them some cheese, or I don't know what raccoons eat. Or, you know, burn the house down. Like, gosh, there's not many options for you here, but I feel like the obvious ones are leave. Like, come on. A week later, I come home to find a slipped note under my door. The handwriting was shaky, like someone wrote it in a rush. It read, "Please stop locking the basement door. It's hard for me to get out at night." Okay, hear me out. This guy, there's just a tenant that lives in the house, and he just didn't say anything about it. My stomach dropped. I hadn't locked the basement door. It had always been padlocked from the outside. I confronted my landlord. He laughed and waved me off. Old place like this, you'll hear all sorts of creaks. Nobody's living down there. Probably some prank kids. But the notes kept coming. Every morning a new one. Sometimes begging, "Please let me out." Sometimes angry. You don't understand what happens if I stay down here. Last night I stayed up late, determined to catch whoever was leaving them. At 2 a.m. I heard movement. Soft footsteps on the basement stairs. The door handle rattled. Something whispered, "Please." The padlock shook violently. I backed away, heart pounding. The noise stopped. This morning, there was another note under my door, in the same shaky handwriting. "Thanks for keeping me in. For your sake." Yo, that one gave me chills. I feel like there's no answer. Like, I need a part 2 to this one. This one's from Time I Fucked Up. It's called Time I Fucked Up with my GPS. So last night, I was supposed to pick up a date at her place. First date. I wanted to look smooth, confident, like I knew what I was doing. I typed in her address into my GPS. Easy. Except I fat-fingered one digit. I ended up in a different town with a completely different vibe. I texted her, "I'm outside." She comes out of her house, except it wasn't her. It was a very angry older man in pajamas holding a baseball bat. Apparently, I texted a complete random number earlier in the week by mistake while confirming our plans. This guy thought I was stalking his daughter. Oh my gosh. That's like, come on, you gotta double check these things. Long story short, police were called, explanations were shouted, and my actual date was across town wondering why I ghosted her. This dude has no play. When I finally got to her house an hour late, she opened the door, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "I'm not dating someone who can't even find the right street." Slammed the door. Yeah, GPS ruined my love life. Nah, homie. GPS didn't ruin your love life. You ruined your love life. As tough as it may sound. Alright, this one sounds pretty creepy. My brother's confession. My younger brother pulled me aside at a family barbecue last month. He looked pale, shaky. He said, "I need to tell you something, and you can't tell anyone else." I braced myself for the usual, money troubles, relationship drama. Instead, he whispered, "I'm not who you think I am." He admitted he'd been living under a false identity for 10 years. The name on his driver's license, fake. The college degree he bragged about, bought online. Hey, you can buy a college degree online? He said he'd gotten tangled in something shady in his 20s and reinvented himself. I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or hug him. He wasn't asking forgiveness. He was asking me to keep the lie alive so he could keep living as the good brother everyone looked up to. Now, every time my mom brags about him, I feel sick. Do I protect him or the truth? Well, I'm confused. If he's really like your younger brother, I mean, I feel like there's how do you fake being someone's sibling and them not know, like if they haven't been there your whole life. But if that's not the case, I'm gonna have my brother's back. I don't know. This one's a little weird. What would you guys do? Next one's called the Lucky Penny. When I was 8, I found a penny on the sidewalk. My dad told me it was lucky and made me promise to always keep it. I did. Okay, wholesome story. Fast forward 20 years. I'm broke, stressed, and walking home from a night shift. I trip, fall, and lose the penny down a storm drain. I actually cried. That is really sad. The next morning, I get a call from my bank. Some stranger had deposited $5,000 into my account. No note, no explanation, just enough to pay rent and get by. Out of habit, I check the sidewalk outside my building. There's the same year minted penny sitting on the curb, shiny as if it had just been made. I still carry it. I haven't read a story in a while that's like creepy and wholesome. But yeah, this is creepy and wholesome. For anybody wondering, ChatGPT the dog, Grok the cat, and Nothing the cat are they're doing pretty good. So just in case you were wondering. Anyways, now's the time where we finally go into the nether, somewhat prepared. Yeah, you guys are in for a real treat. Next one's titled The Breakroom Camera. I work at a mid-sized company where the break room is basically our social hub. Coffee, gossip, microwave fish smells, you know. Last week, IT installed a new security camera in the corner. Nobody thought twice, but 2 days later, a coworker noticed something. The camera wasn't pointed at the door. It was pointed directly at the table where we sit and talk. We joked about being spied on, then one guy, who's usually loud, went quiet. Later, he pulled me aside. "They're not watching us," he whispered. "They're listening for me." Turns out he'd been whistleblowing about shady financial practices. He swore the camera wasn't plugged into our security system at all, but to some private feed. That night, we came back after hours to check. Sure enough, the camera had its own transmitter. We disconnected it. The next morning, it was gone, like it had never been there. I feel like that's kind of like a toxic work environment, but at the same time, like, don't talk about stuff like that. Like, especially in a break room. Go to a broom closet. Also, guys, I know I lasted about maybe 3 minutes on the nether, but I'm gonna redeem myself. Just watch. Alright, I've got another time I fucked up story. It's time I fucked up at the wedding. Yikes. Last weekend, I went to my cousin's wedding. Beautiful venue, elegant setup, the kind of event where even the napkins are fancier than anything I own. During the reception, they brought out champagne for the toast. I raised my glass and took a big gulp, only to immediately realize it was not champagne. It was sparkling cider. The champagne was meant just for the head table. Oh, I'd be pissed. So naturally, I decided to fix it. Oh no. I grabbed a bottle from behind the bar and refilled glasses at our table. People cheered me on like I was some hero waiter, except it wasn't champagne. It was an unopened bottle of very expensive white wine meant for the couple's honeymoon dinner. Oh my gosh. By the time someone noticed, half the bottle was gone, and our table was 3 sheets to the wind. My cousin gave a toast later and joked, "Thanks to Jake for drinking our honeymoon fund." The whole room laughed. My aunt did not. Damn. I mean, I get, like, even give them some cheap champagne or something like that at the other tables. Don't give them sparkling cider or whatever the hell it was. But dude, don't just walk up to the bar and then accidentally grab a very expensive bottle of champagne. Yeah, I'd throw this person out of my wedding. Next one is my mother's journal. When my mom passed, I found an old leather journal tucked in her dresser. It was filled with entries from when she was my age. Most were about work, friends, silly crushes. Then I found an entry that stopped me cold. If anything ever happens to me, look for the safety deposit box. He can't know. Okay. The entry was dated 3 months before I was born. I called the bank listed in the journal. They said the box had been closed years ago, contents removed, no record of by whom. I'll never know what was inside, but it made me question everything about my parents' marriage. Was my mom hiding something from my dad or protecting me from him? Either way, the journal went back into the drawer. Some answers I'm not ready for. Next one's about the CEO's party. I work IT at a big firm. Last year, I was asked to set up AV equipment for a private event hosted by our CEO. When I walked into the rented hall, it wasn't the usual corporate mixer. No suits, no name tags, just a circle of very powerful people sitting silently around a single candlelit table. Yeah, I'll quit my job right there on the spot. They're a part of the Illuminati or something. I don't know. I was told to keep my head down, set up the projector, and leave. But as I worked, I noticed their folders. Each had a name and a photo on the cover. Ordinary employees. Mine was on the table. I don't remember leaving, but the next day, my desk had been cleared out and replaced with a new hire. No one spoke of me again. Yeah, your life was spared. Yeah, they could have just ended it all right there, made you a sacrifice, but they chose not to. And that was very nice of them. So I would just never ask questions again. Time I fucked up with the toilet. Oh God. So last night, I clogged my girlfriend's toilet. Not just clogged, obliterated. The plunger snapped in half like it had been made of breadsticks. It snapped in half? Dude, what did you eat? Panic set in. I did the only logical thing. I grabbed the nearest plastic bag, scooped the evidence out, and tossed it into her outside trash can. Problem solved, right? Wrong. This morning, her dog dragged the bag back inside, right into the living room, in front of her parents, on the carpet. I walked in holding Starbucks, froze, and said the only words my brain could manage. That's not mine. We're no longer speaking. Next one is from Am I the Asshole? Am I the ass for refusing to babysit? My sister asked me to babysit her 3 kids, ages 2, 5, and 7, just for an hour. She and her husband ended up being gone for 6 hours. I'd be kind of mad. When they got back at midnight, I was exhausted. The kids were still bouncing off sugar, and I told her flat out, next time, pay me or don't ask. Damn right. She blew up, said family doesn't charge family, that I was being selfish, and that I only went out once this month. You don't understand how hard it is. Now she's not talking to me, and my mom is siding with her, saying I don't value family. I love my nieces and nephew, but I feel used. So am I the ass for refusing to babysit unless I'm paid? No, absolutely not. And even the thing is, you were going to do it unpaid. If they would have been honest and say, we're going to be gone for 6 hours, not 1 hour, maybe you still would have done it just out of the kindness of your heart. But the fact that they lied and stayed out 5 hours longer, I'd be pissed too. So I don't think you're the asshole. Next one's called the wrong Zoom background. Our office does daily Zoom check-ins. I like to spice things up with funny backgrounds. Outer space, SpongeBob's house, etc. Okay, funny, some light humor for the job. Yesterday, I thought I uploaded a meme background. What I actually uploaded was a picture from my buddy's bachelor party, me in a tutu, holding 2 inflatable flamingos, looking way too happy. I didn't notice until halfway through when my boss said, "That's an interesting choice, David." By then, the screenshot had already made it into the company Slack. My nickname is now Ballerina Dave. I feel like that's not that bad. Like, that's still pretty funny. Like, people think it's funny. We're fired for it or anything. We can only assume this one's gonna be hella creepy. The neighbor's baby monitor. My neighbors asked me to check on their baby monitor feed while they were out. Nothing unusual. It was one of those camera ones you can view on your phone. For the first hour, all was normal. Baby sleeping, little noises, nothing weird. Then I noticed movement in the corner of a room. The shadow leaning over the crib. The baby stirred, whimpered, and then calmed, like someone had patted her. The neighbors swore no one else had keys to the house, but when they checked the recording the next morning, the shadow wasn't there. Just the baby, smiling at nothing. Okay, I have a couple issues with this story. Number 1, did they leave their baby home alone? Last time I checked, that's pretty illegal. Yeah, you don't do that. And you just asked your neighbor, like, okay, if they're like a close family friend, sure, they should be in the house with the baby. Let's see. I think that was all I had. I'll stop complaining. No, wait, I did have another issue. That's a demon baby. Okay, now I'm done. All right, we got another one from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for bringing my own food to a wedding? Are you? I mean, I don't think so. It depends. Let's see. I have severe food allergies, like carry an EpiPen everywhere severe. My cousin got married last weekend and the catering was all seafood and nuts. Basically, my personal hell. I told her in advance I couldn't eat any of it. She shrugged and said, "Sorry, can't change the menu for one person." Dang, you're not gonna bring a not PB&J, can't have nuts. Not gonna bring a grilled cheese for dude. So I brought my own food, packed a little cooler, quietly pulled out my chicken and rice while everyone ate lobster. Halfway through, the bride noticed. She stopped the whole reception to call me out for being disrespectful and ruining the aesthetic of her wedding. Now my whole family is split. Half say I should have just sucked it up. Half say I was right to look out for my health. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, they could have either, been okay with it and just not paid any mind to it, and probably nobody would have noticed except the bride. Or get a little, cook the man a steak or a cheeseburger. Like, at least a grilled cheese. That's not hard. Okay, here's another creepy one. The dog that knew. My golden retriever, Max, barked like crazy one night around 3 a.m. Not unusual, sometimes raccoons pass by, but this time he wasn't at the window. He was facing my bedroom closet. Hackles raised, growling low, like something was inside. I tried calming him, opened the closet, flicked on the light, empty. Clothes, shoes, nothing weird. As soon as I closed the door, Max whined, pawed at it, and then sat perfectly still, staring. I barely slept. Next morning, I noticed something new carved faintly into the inside of my closet door. It said, "Good boy." Burn the house down, start a new life, get a new name. That's creepy as hell. I mean, I know it's not true. I hope it's not true, for the sake of the person and the dog. But if it is, witness protection program, something like that. Am I the asshole for not giving my sister my college fund? When my grandparents passed, they left me a small college fund. Nothing huge, but enough to cover tuition for a state school. I'm a senior in high school, planning to start next year. My older sister got pregnant at 19 and dropped out. She's been struggling. Now she wants me to share my funds so she can get her life back on track. I've said no. I've been working hard, counting on this money. My parents think I'm being selfish and that family comes first, but I feel like it's unfair. She had her chance. Now everyone's calling me the villain for choosing education over blood. So, am I the asshole for refusing? Nah, she'll figure it out. And your family should support you no matter what decision you make. At least that's how I view it. You're right. She did have her chance. And if anyone really wanted to help her, that shouldn't be on you. That should be on your parents. I don't know. What do you guys think? What would you do? All right, we have a time I fucked up. Time I fucked up with my smart speaker. Oh God. I was trying to impress a girl I had over. We were listening to music, candles lit, the whole vibe. I whispered, "Alexa, play something romantic." Instead, my smart speaker blasted the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song at max volume. That's romantic. I scrambled to shut it off, knocked over the candle, and nearly set the curtains on fire. She laughed so hard she cried, said, "This is the least romantic night of my life." We didn't kiss, but at least now she calls me SpongeBob. I don't know if that's a good thing. I feel like the right person would just laugh and find that attractive. All right, if this happened to you guys, like, what would you do? I feel like I would be like so for it. Like, that's hilarious. Next one's called the old lottery ticket. Cleaning out my late dad's garage, I found a shoebox full of old receipts and junk. Inside was a lottery ticket dated 1999. Out of curiosity, I looked up the numbers. They matched exactly. The jackpot back then was 3.1 million. I nearly fainted until I realized the ticket had expired decades ago. No claim, no payout. But here's the kicker. The very next day, my state announced the jackpot was 3.1 million again. Same numbers. I bought a ticket, I didn't win, but I can't stop thinking. Did my dad know something? He probably just forgot about the ticket. I was actually just reading something about this the other day where a lot of lottery winners will just never claim it. They either lose the ticket or just kind of leave it in a drawer somewhere and forget about it and then never look back at it, which is very unfortunate. I would be pissed if I had an expired lottery ticket for millions of dollars. I just skimmed over the next one and oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's called the Breakroom fridge. Our office fridge is a war zone. Lunches get stolen constantly. People label food with angry notes like "touch this and die." Last week, I got fed up and left a decoy yogurt with a note, "Enjoy the laxatives." The next day, HR called me in. Turns out the CEO had eaten it. He thought it was just funny branding. Now, everyone's terrified of me. HR banned food threats. My coworkers call me Yogurt Mafia. The best part, my real lunch has been safe ever since. You gave an explicit warning. And you said that there were laxatives in it, and dude still ate it. So I feel like that's not on you. That's on the dummy that... Here's another one from Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for refusing to split the bill? I, 27 female, went to dinner with my boyfriend and 4 of his friends. When the bill came, everyone insisted on splitting evenly. Problem: I ordered a salad and water. They ordered steaks, cocktails, and dessert platters. My part of the bill should have been maybe $12. Split evenly, $75. I said no. I'd pay for my food plus tax and tip. His friends called me cheap. My boyfriend said I embarrassed him. Now he's sulking, saying I should have just gone along to make a good impression. Am I the asshole for refusing to overpay? I feel like his friends should be the one trying to make a good impression. Yeah, no. I'd get up and I'd throw $12 on the table, get up and walk out of there. That's absolutely not. Anyways, that's all the Minecraft and Reddit stories I have for you today. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe go watch a Baby Jamie video. Thanks. Peace.